Okay, welcome to the review material for the second unit, sections 2.1 through 2.7. Some of this will not apply to Honors Algebra 2, and some of this material will only apply to Honors Algebra 2. So I'll take you through it, but the format here is going to be, I'm going to show you the problem. You'll pause the video and try it yourself, and then I'll move on to the solution fairly briefly after that. So here's problem A. Pause the video, try to do it. Okay, so here's a solution to example A. What I've got here is an equation in vertex form. So if you know vertex form, you know that that's the opposite of h. So I used -4 for h. Then you pick 3 x values to the right and 3 to the left of that center value. The k value, by the way, is at the back, so you can see I just plugged that in. But to find the rest of the y values, you have to either plug in those x values on the left or use your calculator to do the same thing. So what you want to do here is go to your y equals key. Sorry, let me get this written right here. You go to your y equals key and type in this equation. Be sure to use a minus in front of the 9. And then you go to your table settings key, which is a second function, and the window key, and type in this start value of -7. And go to your table, and you'll get all of the y values on the right. Okay, so I usually plot the vertex first, -4, -9, then the 2 on either side, and they're at a height of -6. And then I just work my way outwards. These 2 points are at a height of 3. And the remaining 2 points you can't plot unless you had bigger graph paper, but that's enough that you can draw the graph. Okay, here's example 2, so give a quick pause and try to do this on your own. Okay, the second problem, example B here, you first have to find the value of h, and there's the formula for it. So you take the opposite of b, divided by 2 times the a value. The a value is actually -1 in this case, and that tells you the value of h. And you pick 3 x values to the right of that, and 3 x values to the left of that, and use your calculator to generate the numbers on the right side, similar to what we did last time, and plot your points. -2, 8. I plot the vertex first, and then I go with the 2 on either side. They're at a height of 7. Then I drop down to a height of 4 next. And you should see this symmetry. If you don't see the symmetry, you probably found the wrong value for h. And 1, -1, and 5, -1 will do it for us here. Although there's actually more points here you could get and still stay on the graph. Okay, example C. We have a laundry list of things that are asked about this graph. So see if you can find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the maximum or minimum value, decide which it is, maximum or minimum, the domain and range, and the y-intercept. Okay, the vertex here is already drawn. It's at 4, 7 if you count from the origin. And then the axis of symmetry, let me see if I can get a dashed line here and draw this thing for you. The axis of symmetry, I've got to move this, it's not in the right place. Right there. Okay, that's the axis of symmetry. And its equation, you can see, has to have x in it. X equals 4. The maximum value is the highest point on this graph, and it is the highest point. Otherwise, I would say minimum value. Sometimes that happens when your parabola is right side up instead of upside down. And so we specify that that's the highest point. The y value or the k value actually is your maximum or minimum. Okay, that's the highest point, so that's a maximum. The x's on this graph, the domain, is all real numbers since it goes forever to the right, forever to the left, and everywhere in between. The y values on the graph, known as the range, are as high as 7, but then all the other y values are below 7. So less than or equal to 7, and you see the correct format there. And then if you look over here, you can find where it crosses the y-axis. Let me get that drawn there at 0, -1. You want to be a little cautious on that last one. 0, -1, you don't want to just say -1. You can say y equals -1, but just saying -1 is not enough information. Okay, here's example D. You're supposed to find the vertex and the y-intercept of the function. The trick is to show supporting work. Okay, so you can see here how I've done this problem. You take the opposite of h, change it to h, and k is ready for the picking, and that tells you the vertex pretty quickly. Now to find the y-intercept, you're going to take advantage that every point on the y-axis has an x value of 0. So you put a 0 in for x, do the number crunching, and you find the y-intercept of -7. Then you put it in the right format. You can either say 0, -7, or y equals -7, but what you can't do is just -7. Okay, here's example E, and on this one, you're supposed to find the vertex. Excuse me. So I'm pausing to pause the video and do this problem. So here's the solution. You first of all find h with the little formula right here. And then like any other x value, h is a special x value. You plug it in to the original equation to find the y value. Well, this y value is called k, and it turns out to be 67. So 467 is the vertex of that parabola. Okay, let me see if I can get one more in here. I'm trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes. We're supposed to rewrite this function in vertex form. Show all your work. Okay, so first thing to recognize is that the value of a in both standard form and vertex form match. So that's easy. Just copy the front number. Then you use your formula to find h, but you put its opposite into the equation. Plug that h value into the original equation to find k, and you tack that on the back. So here's your answer. Y equals 3 times the quantity x plus 3 squared minus 38. Now, make sure you get that squared on there. It's easy to forget that. And that's necessary in order to make it into a parabola. Okay, I think I can squeeze one more problem in here. All right, converting from vertex form to standard form. This is a little bit easier problem. Go ahead and try it. Okay, and you can see all I've done here is multiply everything out. I start with the exponent, which means you multiply by itself. When you multiply two binomials, you use first, outer, inner, and last, often called FOIL. I combine my like terms. I distribute the -4. And once again, I combine my like terms. And that's how you get from vertex form to standard form. And I'll pick up on example H in the next video.